what's up, sports fans? It's Josh Jones here. My boy Michael Severe ain't here with me today. It's all good. It's the Let It Fly show, but we got a special edition for you guys. We got my guy Andrew Rogers, co-host of Coffee and Cream with my guy Damon Benning. How you doing, man?
You got it, man. Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, today we got a special one for you. We're talking pure volleyball. We got the Professional Volleyball Federation that's coming in January. We got who we got? We got the president. We got
the CEO.
Yeah.
We have the head coach.
Yep.
And we have Jimmy Burrow.
Yeah. So I want to. Yeah. So Coach Shelton Collier, Jen Spicher, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And
but total pun intended.
Yeah. And Jimmy Burrow, man, how you feeling today, man?
I'm excited. This is just such a tremendous day for the city of Omaha. The announcement of the team name came earlier this morning.
Omaha Supernovas.
The Supernovas. And the origin story behind that, too, is just something special. I'm really excited to get into it with these people.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I feel like, for me, I'm like a sports and entertainment guy, and I think the way that it's been talked about, the way that I feel about it and read about it, man, it's going to be something for the ages. I cannot wait.
I mean, in the turnout, too, over at Let It Fly Bar right now. I mean, there's so many people here just to be a part of this special moment in this new thing. The state of Nebraska will show out for their volleyball, and it proves today seeing the people come through the doors.
Yeah, speaking about the Let It Fly Bar, I forgot to mention, not really forgot, but Michael usually do it, our sponsors, Omaha Steaks. We really appreciate you guys supporting us on the show. Phenomenal steaks cooked right here, right now at the Let It Fly Bar downtown in the Capital District. So anyway, man, we look forward to our first guest, Jen Spicher, the CEO of the Professional Volleyball Federation, coming up with you next on the Let It Fly show. Special edition, my man Andrew Rogers, Coffee and Cream.
Let's do it.
All right, back again on the Let It Fly show. Special edition with my man Andrew Rogers.
You got it.
Cream and Coffee edition. We have here with us the CEO of the Pro Volleyball Organization.
I feel like I should be better dressed for this.
Yeah, me too. Yo, just be yourself. We got
snappy.
Jim Spicher here. How are you?
I'm great,
Jen,
Josh. How are you? Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Good.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Hey, is this your first time being in you've probably been back and forth maybe because of work, but Omaha, Nebraska in general. How many times have you been here?
You know what? We came in early November to kind of scope out locations for the American Volleyball Coaches Association. That was kind of our big reveal. We had a huge exhibit in the exhibit hall, and so we were checking out restaurants for us to host a big party, a nice dinner, and then I came back again for the ABCA convention, spent 4 or 5 days here. And here I am again for the big reveal.
Is there a more fitting name than Spicher? Can we just really that's the elephant in the room?
Is there a lot of pun intended?
No, absolutely not. I married into this family.
You married into volleyball.
Yeah, I married into that. I was a middle blocker at Wayne State University in Detroit.
Because I know there's Wayne State in Nebraska.
Yep, and the Wildcats.
Met and married my husband. His last name is Spicher.
Okay.
I think that was planned. You were looking around. You had your sheet of values, and it was like faith, family, whatever it is, and then Spicher at the bottom.
Well, and I will tell you, I coached my daughter's AAU team for 7 or 8 years, and every time we'd sign up, I'd say Jen and Bryn Spicher, and they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Exactly. That's what I say. It's
really.
a pun intended thing. So tell us, it seems like this was a serendipitous opportunity with you. I know there's a key guy that I feel like you'll naturally say as you explain, but how did you get to where we are today?
So when I was playing middle blocker at Wayne State University on an athletic scholarship, I was working in the football office because I paid my own way for school. And I needed
so part-time job?
Yep. And I was the secretary in the football office, which I loved. My senior year, the defensive coordinator was Dave Winham.
Dave Winham.
The founder of Pro Volleyball Federation.
Yeah.
And we were good friends. We both left at the same time. I graduated. He ended up taking a job with the Illich organization. They own the Wings and the Detroit Tigers.
Right, understood.
They own a number of entertainment venues that I worked at and he worked at, and he was the strength and conditioning coach for them, and we kind of ran in the same friend group, if you will, for about 8 or 9 years. And then I remember standing at the last game for the Tiger Stadium. People were ripping out the bleachers before they built Comerica Park. Dave was next to me, his brother Tom, his now wife Jenny.
Yeah.
We watched that match, and then he just he vanished. And I knew he was in arena football, and I knew he was somewhere in Florida coaching with Coach Markham. And literally, guys, last March, he called me, and you know how your phone is smart,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
So I'm in a training with my 30 salespeople, trying to teach them how to sell globally.
Yeah.
And my phone pops up, and it says, "Might be Dave Winham." And
might be.
Yeah.
No, right.
22 years later, I'm like, okay, either something is wrong or this is a hoax, right? So I sent him a text, and I said, David, if this is you, I'll call you just as soon as I can on a break. And I did, and
it's a nice tactic by you.
Where have you been for the last 22 years
to
of
make
my
him
life?
wait. Like, yeah.
Pinch me. So I called him on a break, and he said, I'm about, my partner Stephen Evans and I are about 6 months from launching the Pro Volleyball Federation, and we really want you to come and be the CEO and commissioner. And I'm like, why me? And he's like, why not?
Man.
He goes, you've spent the last 28 years building a phenomenal career in sales and marketing.
Business background is heavy.
You've run big, multi-billion-dollar businesses for Kelly Services and many large companies. Some of my organizations have been as large as 600 people.
Yeah.
And he goes, volleyball, you've coached it, and your last name is Spicher. So,
it did help. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to take a little bit of convincing of my husband.
For sure.
Because I was leaving
a career change.
It's a huge career change.
So your husband at that time, he's probably like, this is just an idea.
Oh, no, he was bingo, right?
Yeah, so, I've been there.
So we went and met Dave at a friend's house on the lake, and we had a couple of drinks and a couple of cigars, and Daryl was
So it took a couple of drinks.
A couple of cigars.
Yeah.
It was a drink. It wasn't the drinks, it was the cigars.
Yeah, right.
But I will tell you,
for sure.
It was risky, but I believe in this so passionately.
Yeah.
My best girlfriend, Kristen, in college, had to go overseas. She went to Germany. I saw how they treated her. I knew how they treated her. It's very near and dear to my heart to bring these ladies home and to allow them to play the sport that they love in the home country.
Yeah, I was talking to you about basketball earlier.
Yeah.
So for me, played for Creighton. Doug McDermott was my teammate, plays for the Spurs now. I can only imagine if Doug McDermott, being the 6th all-time leading scorer in college basketball, had to either go play abroad or never again.
And that's exactly what happens.
So, wow, I understand.
Yeah. So
sorry, bro. Go
ahead. No, you're fine. I mean, I didn't get to experience it like you did, or even have these experiences that you run into. But how emotional does that kind of make you when you kind of sit back at night, and whether it's still having a cigar and something else?
I'm not smoking the cigar. That's not me.
You know what to get him.
Yeah, that's not me. That's my husband.
How emotional does it make you knowing that you are a big spearhead in this opportunity, like a pioneer for this league and the rest of the people that want something.
Yeah,
you give the women in the States something now.
I'm a mom. And that's what drives me, is that these women, and they're in fact, I talked to one of the ladies on the national team. She happens to be from Texas, and I wanted her to play with us. And she said, I really kind of like France. And I said, you sure you don't want me to call your mother?
Yeah. I mean, she got
How
used
did your
to
mom
it.
feel about you going to France for 10 months a year?
Yeah.
Especially without her.
Yeah, exactly. It means the world to me to be able to do this. I will tell you, Tori Dilfer-Stringer, who played for Louisville and is now potentially on the national team, my first phone call to her, she literally started crying. Because she had just had back-to-back injuries in Italy. Her husband was with her, or her fiance at the time. She was contemplating hanging it up because she was so homesick and so not happy and being treated so poorly that she literally started crying. And then she came on board, and it was a kind of a done deal. But this means the world to me. I pinch myself every morning.
Moving.
Man, so I got something that I know you'll get fired up about.
Yeah.
And I think what I like about you is you're a leader. And so I think you're going to take this on. I'm excited for your answer. I'm going to read it the way that I took it as notes.
Okay.
So when you think about the history of volleyball leagues, you have the USA Pro League that lasted 1 year with one season, and since 2017, National Volleyball Associations for Men's, and then Athletes Unlimited started in 2021 for women. So with that being said, could you kind of explain what's the difference between the federation and Athletes Unlimited, and then also what is going to make this league stand out?
Yep. So if you look at all of the times that volleyball has been tried in the United States of America, there's been one single common denominator, and that is the league or a certain entity, person, owns all the teams.
Yeah.
That's different. Pro Volleyball Federation League doesn't own any of the teams, right?
Wow.
Each of the teams is owned by a separate group that have the wherewithal and the cash liquidity to be able to commit to this league. That's the difference for this league and Pro Volleyball.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, who goes out and from scratch sells 7 teams in the last 18 months?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the WNBA, when they did it, they had a lot of help from the NBA.
For sure.
There's nothing to help us except, blood, sweat, and tears.
Understood.
And to address the AU question, love what Cassidy Lichtman and her team is doing. They're advancing the sport.
Right.
But Athletes Unlimited is not a league.
Right.
It is a 5-week event. The players, there's only 44 of them. They all go to Mesa, Arizona, or whatever location that they're doing. They play what I would call, not pickup volleyball, but they do select new teams every week. And it's all based on individual awards. It's kind of like fantasy football on steroids for volleyball, right?
I understand.
I would play.
Yeah.
Would you get any points is the bigger question.
No, I'd get hit more than I.
Yeah, so AU's terrific, and it's also giving our players a chance to play somewhere and train in the fall. So we love what they're doing, we applaud it, but we just don't see it as a league.
Right.
So you talked about those that have put funds up to invest in these teams, and you have Jason Derillo and Joe Burrow and the Burrow family doing that here. I'm not entirely sure if there's more names to add to that list, but even just those two hot celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Not hot the way you're thinking, Josh.
I look right.
Get your head out of the gutter. Get your head out
your number
of the gutter.
I love my wife.
That's your number on that one.
Are there any
You're
more
frustrating
like
him.
are there any other franchises? I can't speak. Are there any other franchises out there that have like that type of representation that Omaha is going to have?
San Diego has Kerry Walsh Jennings, 5-time Olympian and 3-time gold medal winner.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Right? So that's really big.
Yeah.
Colleen Craig is our owner, first other female owner in Atlanta.
Who was the first team that came on?
The very first team that we announced was the Grand Rapids Rise.
Who did they play against?
Dan DeVos is the owner of the Orlando Magic and the Grand Rapids Griffins and many other minor league teams.
This thing is going to work, basically.
Well, and they are playing in Van Andel Arena, which is the home of the Grand Rapids Griffins. I've been in that arena. I mean, they're shooting hot dogs to the top of the arena.
So game experience.
It's a launcher. Yeah.
It's through the roof.
It's about quality product. It's about economic viability. And we have that because the league doesn't own any of the teams, right?
Yeah.
And then fairness, ensuring that it's fair and that the players, have a chance to make a real living wage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask this.
Go ahead.
So for the Omaha Supernovas, it kind of sparked in my head. So where will the Supernovas practice? And you got CHI, you got Baxter, you got some venues in Omaha. Well,
I think Coach Collier's up next, so I want you to ask him that question.
Right. Okay.
But they are going to play in the CHI Center.
Put that on reserve. I like
put
call
that
that
one on
a
reserve.
tease.
Okay.
So the follow-up to this is, when we were talking to Jimmy and we were talking just how people enter the league and how they get onto a team, it had me thinking like, well, with the way the league is progressing, is there currently a draft? Because I ask a lot of questions that I don't know the answer to.
That's a good question.
Is there currently a draft, or is it kind of like, hey, you just go after somebody and try to sign them? Or if there's no draft and you only sign right now, will there be a draft eventually?
Yep.
Yeah.
So with the free agent players, and the free agents are anybody that is out of college, has played pro, or maybe they're going to be a rookie professional. But they're done, right? They've graduated college. We just announced Gabby Blossom in Columbus for the Columbus Fury. Gabby was in the NCAA Final Four last year for San Diego State. Was really, struggling with, do I go to Europe or do I stay in the States and play Pro Volleyball Federation and AU? And she signed with us a couple of days ago. And so anybody like Gabby's age or older is a free agent. And they call me. My job for the last 6 months, myself and my player relations associates, has been calling these women, the 500 top USA players that are playing in Greece and Turkey and Italy and Brazil and Peru. And you should see my phone bill. Anyway,
right.
But that's been our job. And nobody's saying no.
Yeah.
You know, there are a few women that are vying for the Olympic team.
Yeah.
That feel that they need
the timing, though, right?
They feel like they want to stay in Italy next year just to be,
exactly.
And that's fine. But a number of them have already said, sign me up for 2025.
Yeah,
because I want to come home.
Yeah. What about conversations with the NCAA? I mean, you got the NIL and things like that. Talking to Jimmy Burrow, he was explaining about, like, he basically said the way the NBA is, the way the NFL is, as far as the high level, high quality, the premier best league in the world. Are you guys going to have, like, that draft, like the next day after the championship or next week? Or
So we believe our college draft is going to be held in mid-November before the brackets are announced. We feel like waiting to the ABCA convention between the semifinal and the final is just a little bit long, and the coaches in our league really want to be able to plan.
Right.
And so we're going to have a 5-round draft, and
it'll be fun.
Yeah, and
who announces the picks? Is it you?
I'm sure I'll be involved.
Yes.
Sure I'll be involved.
I mean, like, you got to be.
Yeah.
Like, the way you spearhead things, you have to be involved.
Well, thank you.
And if not, then whoever needs to have an earpiece in their ear, and you telling them what to do.
Am I their Sarah Nova in the back? Okay, got it. I could do that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
It's exciting, and it's the coach's job between now and the draft to figure out which of these NCAA athletes don't want to go to Europe, right? Because they have an option to potentially go to Europe or play for us, or maybe they want to start med school.
Yeah.
I've talked to two ladies that are going to dental school, but they're not getting into dental school until the fall of 2024, so they want to play with us. They're seniors in college and they want to be drafted, and if they're not drafted, they can certainly walk on because the training camp is allowing up to 30 players to be in training camp. As you can imagine, we don't have any feeder teams, whereas in Europe
there's
there's
not a
feeder
farm system
teams.
or anything like that.
Right.
So kind of off of that, you do want to get to the point where they don't have to go to med school if they want, and you will hope that you can pay them a significant wage, right? So no, this is a big deal. I'm just trying to revalidate that.
Well, and I just want to share with you, people don't understand the bonus money that's involved here. So the base pay for all the players is $60,000 year one.
Oh, that's great.
We're going to be the first league, what I believe is in the world, to generate revenue from our media and broadcasting rights as well as expansion fees
contracts.
And share that with our players from day one.
Wow.
So there's a little bundle of money there.
Wow.
No wonder it's enticing to get so many people to come back.
I don't know if you're aware, but going to Europe, they're not making that much.
No, I am
like
aware.
The top players are making that much.
I am aware.
But, one of my players that was a PRA for me and still is, I think she made $35,000 in 9 months.
Man.
They're going to make 60 in 4.5.
Exactly. So it's legit.
It's legit.
And so what I'm learning is not that, so there's no shade to anybody that was before.
No.
It's just you're doing it right.
A little different. Yep, we're doing a little bit differently. And these
you're
gentlemen,
doing it right. I got to say that.
Dave Winham and Stephen Evans have done this several times.
About this.
They know. They've been thinking about this for a dozen years.
I know. You said 22 years later.
So how much did you assess what other people did and then say, hey, we're not going to do that? Like, how much did what other people did?
I'm like, who couldn't
tell you to do it this way?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
was it just kind of like a history book?
Yeah. Well, I think it's more of a history book and how they've done it in the past. And again, you've got individual teams owning the teams in their markets, right? You can't run a league like this from an ivory tower in New York.
No.
Right? You cannot tell the Orlando team how they should go about selling tickets or sponsorships or whatever because they know you're not going to tell Nebraskans how to do that. They know what works in Omaha. They know what works in Lincoln. And so we're there to police policy, implement, make sure everybody's getting a fair shot, make sure everybody's doing it correctly. And then, building as we go,
So this is one of my favorite things. I'm not a gamer. Are you a gamer?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm not.
My son is. I'm not.
So I guess it's not even about age. You're not almost my age, but that's crazy. But I'm not a gamer. But there is something called gameplay settings. So TBT is the basketball tournament. It's a $1 million tournament where the college alumni compete. I had a team in it last year. Winner takes all 6 games, right?
Yep.
But it ends on something called the Elam ending, and that's every game ends on a made basket. Is there any way in volleyball where you can have like 8 subs in this? Or because if you're just starting something off, maybe Jane Doe was my favorite player in college. She might not.
She was good.
Yeah, she was right. Yeah. So are you following me? Like maybe with Jane is like I want to see her play, and if she's a professional, and this is the first year, and I came and I'm a huge fan of her. to get her in a rotation, could we have 8 subs instead of 5 or 6?
So the FIVB rules are 6 subs. And we are going to move it to 8 in our league.
At that.
Oh.
Did you read my mind, or did you see it somewhere?
Jane Doe has a spot on the
Jane Doe's
team.
getting in the game.
Listen, so I just think for like I don't know, I like entertainment. Sports entertainment is what it is to me. So it's like, I just want to make sure that when I go, I get the elite experience and I actually get to, because you know what, I'll tell you where it came from. So my brother-in-law plays soccer, right? He's broke it down to me and all that, and sometimes, one day, somebody got subbed out, and he's like, "Oh man!" I was like, "He can just come back in."
No,
and he's
not
like,
in soccer.
I said, "Man, he didn't change the rules."
Let me give you a hometown example, okay? Kenzie Knuckles, defensive specialist for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, probably the best 6 player in the country. She's playing behind Lexi Rodriguez, who is a libero, right?
For sure.
Kenzie Knuckles is probably the libero on any other team. But now we're going to open up that 8 subs, and that gets a DS in there. It gets a serving sub in there. And I'll tell you, I'm on the phone with Kenzie. She's bringing it.
More winks here.
Now, I mean, I've always was happy. I mean, Omaha has had the Omaha Nighthawks back in 2011. It was a great semi-pro football league. I was happy about this and the same energy. But two things you're doing that's great. You're giving the franchises to the states, and it's controlled by the actual leaders, you know, and they know the identity of where they're at. And then also you're changing the gameplay settings. This is cool, man.
Well, yeah, it's cool to follow along with.
My gosh, like I have millions of questions, but like you said, you want us to ask. You know, we're speaking to Coach Shelton.
Coach Collier,
yeah. So we'll ask him some questions. I got
one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing for me, because I asked this to Jimmy. I want to ask this to you too, Jen. Now, the impact in this state in particular with the sport of volleyball is huge. I mean, it is a focal point for volleyball players everywhere to want to come to the Midwest and play.
We might have the best franchise in the league. I'm just saying.
Yeah, not just the Midwest, but especially in Nebraska.
I got to be Switzerland here.
So my question more goes along with expansion. When you guys were deciding, hey, where we want to put more teams, is that what you were thinking about too? Like, hey, we know that Nebraska will show out for this league?
Well, of course, you know, and that's one of the reasons we picked the Grand Rapids team, because we knew that the DeVos family was going to put a quality product on the floor and wouldn't need any heavy lifting from the league.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you know this, and you might, but there are more girls playing volleyball in the state of Texas than there are boys playing football in the states of Ohio and Florida combined.
I never knew.
And those are some big football states, right?
Yes.
Volleyball has overtaken women's track and field at the high school level for being the most popular sport in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, there's club teams that have 250 teams.
No, I know. Yeah, there's a guy here
over
named
12
Tony
or
Carroll.
10 age groups.
Yes. I mean,
everybody's playing volleyball.
Oh my God. And also when you watch it on TV, like we all know that football, Super Bowl is huge. We all know the NBA is what it is. Volleyball is third. Like maybe it's just me because of my interest personal, but I'm saying volleyball is big.
But it's grown over the last 5 years to become the third most viewed sport in the NCAA. And I don't know if you saw, but recently, notoriously, the NCAA championship has always been played on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock. And just recently did ESPN start televising it.
Yes.
They just moved it to Sunday at 3 p.m. on ABC.
A big day.
That's a big day.
Oh, man.
That's a big day.
We should just end on that.
Two thumbs up.
Hey, I want to say thank you to you.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
Great to meet you
guys. Thanks.
And I'm excited.
Go Supernovas.
There you go. For Omaha right now. You're Switzerland.
I can do it. I'll be in Atlanta next week.
Yeah. All right. So when we come back, we'll have Coach Collier on the Let It Fly show. Welcome back to the Let It Fly show, special edition with the coffee and cream with my man Andrew. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
We got a special guest. We got Coach Collier here, the head coach.
An icon.
Of the Omaha Supernovas.
Soon-to-be real icon. Yeah. I heard they're building a statue out there already.
Hey, I'm going to say it before it happens. They're going to put you on Coach McDermott's status. Coach Greg McDermott is the man around here, and I feel like we got something new. It's volleyball, and you're the head coach. So winning and losing is on you. So you're the guy now.
I feel it.
Yeah. But anyway, how are you doing? Talk to us.
Well, first of all, I've been listening to your other interviews, and you guys are super engaging, knowledgeable, interactive.
Thank you.
That's him. That's him.
Nah, I don't think so.
It's been really, really cool having you guys involved with this, and I'm really honored and proud to be the first coach of such an amazing opportunity. Wow. I get to be the coach of the first franchise. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
I can
Not a lot of people get to say that.
It's like it's still hitting them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, coming to this day today when they announced the team and Jason Derulo goes live to his followers, and we had something over at the CHI Center. It was just really exciting.
Wow.
So you're a Supernova now. Like, how does that feel? Do you like the team? You probably have to. But do you like what they stand for and how they came up with it and all that?
Well, you know what's interesting? When you coach a women's volleyball team, the women are the show.
Yeah.
You know, like in my case, I'm going to get to coach them, and we're going to put them out there. They're going to be great. But we've got women athletes from some of the top places in the country that already have their social media followings. They're already popular and well-known. Yeah. I will be the coach, but I'll be for sure the backdrop, because when you have these women volleyball players out on the court, they're going to be the show.
Yeah. Well, I want to run something off to you, Andrew, and to everybody out there. 40 years of coaching, 7th in career NCAA wins with a winning percentage of 79%. Always round up to 80. I got you on that. 21 years of coaching at Wingate, where you're holding the league's all-time record for wins. SAC titles at 16, 14 SAC tournament titles, 6 regional championships, 8-time regional coach of the year, and 11-time coach of the year honors, including the AVCA National Coach of the Year in 2013.
Is that good?
Oh, it's beyond great. So I know you're probably humbled by everything that you accomplished, but did you fathom in your 40 years of coaching everything that I just listed to happen the way it did?
I think every coach lives day to day, week to week. You hear them go, next game, next game, next game. You win one, you say next game. So, I don't know. For me, you just grind. You care about players. You get them in and say, what's the next goal? Yeah. And you go for it. So what's exciting about this is I've already gotten to know the players on a personal level. I've gotten comfortable with them. I feel we have a trusting relationship. And we're talking about winning here in Omaha.
I know, man.
So a lot of us have pasts. A lot of our players have great past careers. I've had a bunch of coaching experience. But a little bit, we're starting fresh with a clean slate here. They're a new pro volleyball player in this town. Yeah. I'm a new pro coach in this town. And we got to have it happen for this group in this town, in this city. Right. And it has to happen in January.
Right. So you want it to happen now?
No question.
There you go.
Can I be nosy and ask you what you have written down on your sheet of paper?
Well, you know what? We have some really, really notable players.
Yeah, you want to make sure they get notarized.
If you started talking to me about players, which if we do, and we have 12 really good players signed. And so what if I win 9 for 12? And I'm thinking, I missed a really good one.
Right.
So I don't want to miss a really good one.
Respect.
So not that I would, but sometimes in an interview, you forget one.
Yeah. No, I've been there before. It's like when you name your
family, and you forget one family member, and you hear it.
I give you.
Why does one have a star next to her name? Do you like her more?
I got 4 brothers, right? No, actually, my dad got a lot of kids, but my mom, she would always call me my other brothers' names, or sometimes call 2 of us and forget the other 2.
Yep.
So I understand.
And you pay for that forever.
And it won't go over well, man, because I used to always say, man, how you going to forget me? Right. I'm the one she forgot. No, but kind of let's talk about your list.
Well, we got some amazing players. I got the job about 2 months ago, and 2 of the teams, Atlanta and Grand Rapids, had already been recruiting and signing players for about a month.
Wow.
So I had to
So you were behind the 8 ball.
Right.
And we said the minute I got the job, I was on the phone all night for about 3 weeks in a row, calling coaches, players, trying to find out who we could get that might want to sign internationally. Some of our players were in negotiations to sign overseas.
Yeah. And so you had to buy them out the contract, right?
Well, we had to convince them to sign with us instead of signing another contract.
Okay, understood.
I was talking to agents, and agents are not easy to talk to.
Ah, man.
So I was grinding with agents, and we got some collegiate All-Americans.
Yeah.
We got some people that have played in the Olympics. We got some players that have played All-Americans that played in Big Ten schools that actually played in Nebraska and are familiar with it.
Yep.
So we've got a diverse group of older players, younger players, but a lot of them have been through Nebraska, and all of them are saying, it was the most amazing atmosphere they ever played in. And these are players who played at Penn State, at Wisconsin, and Oregon,
right?
Some of the premier programs in the country, but they have a reverence for Nebraska as a place to play.
Right.
So how easy was it negotiating with these agents when you knew you had a year one salary of that $60K mark to just throw out there?
Yeah.
Had to make your job a lot easier, even though conversations were probably still a little difficult.
Yeah. And agents are pretty sophisticated, and they've been at it for a long time. And we're a new pro league. Yeah. So there was a lot of education that happened. They would be asking, what about this in the contract? And this is a new clause in the contract. We're not familiar with this. How does this work? So for a couple of weeks, I had to play the role of GM, coach, recruiter.
And all other duties. How about that?
All other assigned.
Yeah, you've been there, right?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, they had him mopping floors, man, when he was a news anchor. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, basically.
I'm playing. Go ahead.
So agents are sophisticated
they were bathrooms.
at what they do. And I'm learning on the fly because they would ask sophisticated contract questions.
For sure.
And I was trying to find out answers for them and get them comfortable. They have to represent their players, make their players comfortable. But this is an exciting new league, so there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And naturally, people go, well, what happens if this happens? What about this scenario? What about this? And in other leagues, they've already got those questions answered.
Yeah.
And for us, we're trying to get those answers and make the players feel comfortable. But one of the good things about Omaha, we have an unbelievable ownership group here. We're ahead of the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And we signed some really good players that are going to be proudly playing in Omaha. So we're super excited about all that.
So what about the general pool of players? I mean, we were kind of talking to Jen about like a draft and things like that. Like there has to be like a pool of players that every franchise gets to see. Is that a thing? Or are you just building it according to your own relationships?
Well, the day the Omaha franchise selected me as the head coach, there was a pool of every player who is uncommitted to go internationally overseas, or maybe not already going to play on our USA women's national team, or had another commitment to one of the other franchises. So it's a feeding frenzy of everybody's open.
Dang.
Anybody is open.
It's the pros, bro.
Yeah.
Well, we
Thank goodness there's smarter people than me that deal with this.
Yeah, right.
So we have a world-renowned player from the Dominican Republic, Betty De La Cruz, one of the most seasoned, veteran, popular players in volleyball in the world.
Yeah.
And we have a player, Hrstina Vuchkova, coming from Bulgaria, and she's one of the top international players in the world.
Yeah.
And they chose to come to play Omaha in this first endeavor. Dang. And certainly we've got local players from Nebraska here. Yeah. We've got Big Ten players. So we built it with a lot of things in mind, but there's going to be top international players playing in this league.
So question now, because when you're on the search for this, right? You look up probably a lot of film of these women, and something that I really gravitated to when I worked at UNO, and I attached to the volleyball team there. They would always in practice break out the radar gun, and so my question to you is this: who on this roster will fans attach to that's like absolutely electric? Like you would want to break out the radar gun whenever she's going up for a kill or something like that.
Yeah, that's a great question. A couple of special players that ring a bell. We have a girl named Yassiana Presley that played at Baylor. She jumps maybe 38 inches, skywalker. You look at her highlight reel and you almost laugh because she gets kills that are amazing. We have a player named Nia Reed that has played in Korea. She's played in Brazil. She's played high-level professional volleyball. She was an All-American at Penn State. She's coming here. She's amazing. We have Danielle Hart. She was an All-American for Wisconsin, won the national championship, and she's right now vying for a spot on the USA Olympic team. She's 6'4". She hammers it. We've got a lot of people that have some special skills that are going to be really fun to watch. And our players are good players, but they also have a vibe, a charisma, an energy that I think fans will adore, and I think young kids will say, well, I like this player for this reason. I like this player because I can relate to her. We have a player on our team, Brooke Nuneviller. She's one of the most popular players in the country. She played at University of Oregon, and she's a rather undersized outside hitter. So all the kids in the country say, well, I can't be 6'4", but maybe Brooke Nuneviller is going to be my hero. And we brought her here, and she's an amazing player, an amazing personality, but she's going to be one that players can relate to in club to say, well, you don't have to be 6'4" to be a professional player. You can be like Brooke. And I think that's what's going to happen with our team in times.
Yeah, and as far as you played at Ohio State, right?
I did.
And you were a setter.
I did.
That I heard. I was kind of digging and asking if you played. All right. So with that being said, from a setter's perspective, like, do you feel like you'll kind of like build the team around Sydney Healy at all, or like what's the identity do you think you're going to create? I mean, because you were a setter, you know.
You guys do your homework.
No, all right. I just know sports, bro.
I like this.
Like I'm a coach, and like.
What do you coach?
Basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to play basketball for Creighton, right?
Okay.
And so for me, if I was to start a team tomorrow, I would probably build our team around a combo guard, which is a point guard and a shooting guard, just because that's what I could play. And I feel like for you as a setter, it's
gravitate to what you know.
Yeah, is it that thing? Or, I mean, you got 40 years of experience. Or, like, would you, like, build your program according to, like, like how are you going to go about developing your team?
I got you. I think when a NFL quarterback or a NFL coach decides if they want to take a franchise,
right,
and there's a good quarterback in place, they feel confident they can be okay.
Yep.
But if they don't have a quarterback, they might not want to take the job because they might lose 3 years and then they might get fired.
Yeah.
So Sydney Healy, All-American from Wisconsin, won a national
championship. I know that because I watched her play. Well, I know that.
And she's right now in Anaheim training with the USA Women's Olympic team. So that's as good as it gets.
Right.
And then we have Natalia Valentin Anderson.
Yeah.
She lives in Omaha.
Yep.
She played on the Olympic team for Puerto Rico.
Dang.
So we can say our team's in good hands.
Amen.
I'm cool with that.
I feel it, yeah.
So, okay, when you talk about the team, though, even further, because this is why I think a lot of people really gravitate to the sport, is it's just so exciting. Every point, there's a reaction, there's a come together, there's a reset, and then you do it again. But that reaction is what people live for. You get a kill, boom, ball hits the floor, the team reacts, celebrates, hands in the air, yelling and screaming. So when you talk about, like, personalities on this team, like, who has the biggest personality? Like, even if they're not even a starter, if they're one of the first ones off the bench, who's going to be the ultimate teammate on your list?
Well, we have a player named Kendall White. She was the libero at Penn State. She made life miserable for everybody in the Big Ten that she played against because she's super competitive. She's an uber big personality. She's very expressive on the court. She's a human highlight reel of playing defense and picking balls up. She's also out in Anaheim playing for the USA national team. But she's probably our biggest personality. She will be proudly probably the most vocal and expressive player on the court.
Sound like Josh Jones, huh?
Something like that.
No.
She'll be playing our libero position in the different colored jersey, playing defense all the time. And she proudly goes crazy and celebrates. So
that's the person I'm looking for. People
might resonate with Kendall White as somebody that they're going to be particularly fond of with her enthusiasm.
Yeah, we talked with Jen, and we were talking about gameplay settings, and I had brought up like 8 subs. She said, actually, she's like, are you in my head? That's what we're doing. How is 8 subs in the game to an advantage for you with the team that you got versus strategizing trying to win?
Yeah, I think it just gives an opportunity. If you have a couple of players that can offer something, you can get them in.
Right.
And I think with the international subs, it's a little more limiting, and you have to play basically with 7 players pretty much the whole way.
Right.
But this will create opportunities for, we might have a player who's an All-American who's on the bench, and can we get her in for part of a game and she impacts the game?
Right.
And there'll be more opportunity. I think that's what they're looking for, is we're going to have star players that are sitting on the bench. And we don't want them on the bench the whole game. Maybe we can get them in. And some of our players on the bench might become some of the most popular players who can play and come in and impact games.
Yeah.
So they can be like, have a firework explosion when they go in. You win 5 points, and all of a sudden they're famous too.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice.
So, okay, so you have this big group, and you're very confident in all of their abilities. What are you hoping to accomplish in year 1 with this team? Because, maybe educate, because most people out there probably don't know the length of the season, what the playoffs look like. So, as you guys strive for a certain goal, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, we start in January. Championship is going to be in May. We're going to have some of our players that want to go on and try to make the Olympic team right after this season is over. So some of the players are going to be motivated to do well in this league, put themselves in a good position to make an Olympic team right after that and go to Paris. So that's exciting. We have a $1 million prize that the players split for winning it.
Jen didn't tell us that. Jen, no, that's amazing.
No, this is for Omaha because we're winning it.
Yeah. He's not talking about anybody else.
She tried to be Switzerland. That's why she didn't want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She did a good job of Switzerland.
Yeah.
But we're Omaha now.
Yeah.
But every player on our team has talked about the excitement of playing at the CHI Center. We will have the largest crowds. It's just a matter of by what degree. We'll have the largest crowd of everybody in the league.
For sure.
So our players that have come from these prominent programs have said, how exciting is it we're going to play in Nebraska, fill that center, play on TV, win $1 million for the championship, split it up. I mean, maybe they'll roll out a cart with $1 million.
They should,
right there.
That would, or let it rain. Just let it rain. No confetti, just it's all money.
Just the money? Then I might get some of the prize.
And, I'll tell you this. I watched the ESPYs the other night. And I always watch that. ESPYs are one of the most amazing television shows for sports. Emotional, they roll in. But they really have focused on women's sports on the ESPYs.
And the last couple of years.
Yes. And a lot of women have been on the stage, and a lot of teams have got down.
I thank Kobe Bryant for that.
Yeah.
For sure.
And there's been this, and our feeling is, can Omaha Supernovas get, ladies and gentlemen, the SB4, top professional women's team.
Yep.
Or SB, top professional female athlete. Right. Omaha Supernova.
Insert name.
Oh, man, it's going to shine so much light on the city.
And when they span the cameras and there's, they
not just at the sport, though.
Yeah. Omaha Supernovas in the first row of the ESPYs, and we're legit.
Yeah.
Or the other thing, I think we win a big game here at the CHI. We go home, and I'm kicking back, and I'm watching Sports
on a ticker. Number one, somebody gets spiked in the face by one of our players.
That's a good.
Tell me. So if the Supernovas are up for an ESPY and they're like, Coach, we want you to be there, what's your fit going to look like? Because you have to compete with some of the best of the best there.
Not saying this ain't cool.
Yeah,
but
we need some flash.
It's got to be something about you that got to stand up.
Let me just tell you, if Omaha gets something at the ESPYs, there will be one of our players dressed in whatever is the hot thing to be that night.
Yep.
But it won't be looking at the coach. There won't be anybody.
You want to look neutral. You want to blend in, right?
There'll be nobody looking at the coach when one of our players rocks it on the ESPYs.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about your staff. I mean, you're great. I love the accolades that you got. You have so many coaches over all of your years of coaching. How did it come down to pick who you got? Supporting you as your assistants?
Yeah, well, right now I'm holding off a little bit because I think there's going to be some really good people that are going to hear all this splash, all these players,
listen to this show,
attention for sure.
Yeah,
they're going to say this is going big, and I think there's going to be some top people that have been with the national team or in top collegiate programs that are going to leak the word to say if there was a job there, we're interested.
For sure.
And that's how good jobs happen.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for a little bit of those
playing the long game.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. Because people right now have heard about this startup league, but as it gets legs and it gets more press and it gets more exposure, people are going to want in.
For sure.
And I'm going to take some calls.
Yeah.
So do you think that process is expedited because of the people that will be playing in the league, or do you think it will take maybe a year for it really to grow to the extreme that people want it to grow to?
That's a great question. So it's two prongs. One, the league got legit because all the top players are playing in it.
Yeah.
So that gave the league legitimacy. So people are going to want in now. But in a year or two, when it really goes and it's really big time legit, there's going to be people fighting over the jobs. They're going to be leaving top college jobs
and
to come
going
in.
pro.
Yes, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's off to a good start, but when it goes, it's going to get really interesting because the top coaches are going to say, I'm so tired of the transfer portal, NIL, dealing with it, and they're going to say, let me go in the pro league because that's the dream job, and that'll be the dream job that people are going to strive for.
So as far as Omaha, where are the Supernovas practicing at?
We have the College of St. Mary's.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Awesome place.
Yeah.
Go Flames.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
They've been super welcoming and helpful with their facility, their weight room, our hours that we can go in there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they're open and they're open.
So they don't have to schedule. You can come in from 6 to 8 or 6. Like you actually legitimately are exclusively there.
Yes. They have said during this part of the day, place is yours. Practice, weights, video room, coach's office.
Wow.
We're going to do some upgrades to their locker rooms.
Yeah.
And
to
they're going to love that.
Yeah, I know, right.
They're going to inherit.
It's a good recruiting tool.
Yeah.
We're going to put in new court surfaces, which their women's volleyball team will be able to use, but we're going to put in the best in the world, the best courts in the world on their courts.
Yeah.
So they're going to be the recipients of some cool stuff for them, but it's a partnership that's going to benefit us as well.
Yeah. So when's the first time like the team actually is like, I mean, starting in January, so when are you guys going to start getting together, practicing every single day and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, we start in early January with a game on January 28th.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to hit the ground running.
Yeah, right, for sure. Like 3 weeks, a month out and up to the game. Yep. That's enough time when you're dealing with pros, though, and especially when we're dealing with you as a head coach. You'd be straight, right?
Well, a lot of these players will be already playing in other professional leagues or seasons, so it's not they're coming in cold.
Right.
We're going to hit the ground running and be ready to go.
Sorry.
Go, Josh.
So we got 8 teams in the league, right?
We got 6 confirmed.
Okay, so that means it'll probably be like obviously a round robin, but like with 6 confirmed, how do you do a playoff? Like, how does that go? Do you just take the top few teams and just do a series, or does everybody play, or how does that go?
That's a great question, and I think right now we're talking about that. Do we do a 2 out of 3 series at like the NBA does, where you go and transit home and home, or do we have it at one big site and have a semifinal with a final?
That's a good question.
Maybe say Omaha.
Yeah, all right.
I wouldn't hate it.
I mean, CWS College World Series is here.
And you know what the turnout is in this town.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those are all good points.
Yeah. So
and you're jotting those down on the backside of your roster.
Put us on the staff, man. We got you, man. We can be your assistant.
Yes. I don't know.
Well, I can't. No, man.
But
no one wants to take advice from me.
All we know is whatever hand we get dealt, our responsibility is to figure it out and be the team last standing and watch the confetti come down.
For sure.
And, the dream.
It is. And it's a real dream. There's young kids out in this restaurant right now. This is the first day they've ever been saying, I could be a professional lady volleyball player.
No,
they never have said that before.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And now they can.
And the dream of that, I mean, I can't even measure that, of a person being able to say, Steph Curry doesn't have to be my idol.
Right.
Gina Mancuso-Proskowski, who lives here,
can be
my idol now, and I can go be her.
Yeah, for sure.
So we talk about the dream. This last one from me. We talk about the dream of, as you kind of build out your staff, you said people will want to coach here. People will want to come here. But what made this the right fit for you and your dream?
Well, when this job came open, to me it was like, what would be the best job to coach in a professional women's volleyball sport?
Yeah.
So it didn't matter where you moved to?
This is the place.
Yeah.
This is the primo job.
Yeah.
This is the number one job with the most support, the best infrastructure, the best ownership group, the most support, the most fan base, the most history of supporting volleyball. We're not going to have to go around and talk people into getting to know about volleyball.
Yeah.
They're saying, when's the pro team?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other
cities are going to have people
go around and tell people. No, it's big here.
Yes, and so I mean, if I could say hit the lottery.
Yeah, you did.
I hit the lottery.
I wish I would have hit the $1 billion Powerball, but that's cool.
Yeah, I do want to say this. I forgot to mention that you were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, congratulations.
How does that feel?
And you know what? It was in the CHI Center in December.
Fitting.
It's serendipitous.
Yeah, I mean, I was there with all the coaches, and I got the award and was in the CHI Center, stayed at the Hilton right across the street, walked over, got the award with my wife, Diane. She's incredible. She also played volleyball at Ohio State when I was there.
Oh, nice.
We walked over together, got the award, and said, this is the most amazing place to be and receive this award in Omaha.
Wow.
And then to be able to coach here and have a team here, it just rings a loud bell in a lot of places.
Yeah. So last one for me. This is from like a franchise question. So season's over. Will there be an opportunity where teams can make trades?
Oh, it's going to be a frenzy. And let me tell you what we're trying to do. And this is from our ownership group.
Yeah.
They want to put together a program and a franchise here where all the other players in all the other cities have heard how awesome Omaha is with their support, fan base, the support of the ownership,
right,
where they want to jump ship and come here.
For sure.
And make it really hard for me to decide which one.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be international players that are going to hear about this overseas.
Yep.
I think the top college players in the country are going to say, I could play here, here, here.
Yep.
And a lot of them are going to say, I hope I get to play in Omaha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just got Jen in the back of my mind because you can do that because each team is owned by its own franchisee.
Yep.
So it's very competitive.
Right.
Yeah. So, Coach, we appreciate you.
Great to meet you, Coach.
Congrats on the position.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. Coach Collier here on the Let It Fly Show.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Back to the Let It Fly Show, special edition of the Coffee and Cream Show with my man Rogers, without the D, pause. I remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, you
Andrew
did.
Rogers. We got a special guest on our show today. We got Jimmy Burrow. I know when you guys think about Jimmy Burrow, you obviously think about his son, Joe Burrow, but it's your time to shine. How you doing?
That's okay. People introduce me as Joe Burrow's dad all the time, and I'm cool with it.
I would have said Jamie's dad. So.
Jamie's dad is a good thing, too. Most people around here know Jamie also. So,
yeah, for sure.
And Dan, a lot of people around here know my son, Dan. So any of those, I'm all their dads. So it's good.
Well, what I learned, what I learned about him, and I definitely say to you, like, I was actually impressed. Like, I'm not even gonna say you're an honorary Nebraskan. I mean, your ties to it are incredible. Yeah. I mean, you played for the Huskers with Coach Osborne. Didn't two of your sons play also?
Yeah,
with the
Dan
Huskers?
and Jamie did.
You met your wife.
I met my wife.
Who's from
Robin.
Nebraska?
She's from.
Kind of talk about your ties to Nebraska.
Well, Coach Devaney actually was still playing. That tells you how old I am. And I was at Ole Miss, and they taught me into transferring, so I was kind of the first transfer in the family before Joe. I went from Ohio State.
Right.
So played. And then the next year, Coach Osborne took over, and then I played. Back then, you had to sit a year, and then I played 3 years. Just saw Johnny Rogers today. My first year, sophomore year, ended up being my redshirt year, and that's when Johnny won the Heisman.
Right.
So ended up playing with the Packers for a year, CFL. Would come back to Nebraska a lot. Ended up coaching for Jim Walden, who was at Nebraska, at Washington State, Iowa State. Coached at head coach at the high school in Ames. That's where Joe was born, in Ames. Jamie was actually born here in Omaha, and then hooked up with Coach Solich at Nebraska.
Coach Frank.
Then went to North Dakota State with Craig Bowl, and still recruited all of those years. I recruited Nebraska, and then 14 years with Frank Solich at Nebraska.
Man, that's incredible.
Gosh, success is what this family knows.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just a lot of success.
It's weird because it's all football, and then all of a sudden now we're talking volleyball.
Yeah, we'll get into that because I kind of want to know the passion behind that. Like, where does that stem from for you, coming from a football family?
Well, my dad was a girls' high school basketball coach for several years, so I grew up on the bench as a mascot. My mom was a legend in basketball, scored 82 points one year down south.
So one over
south.
Kobe. One over
That's
Kobe.
right. Joe has mentioned
82
that
points in a game?
Your mom is a real
82.
legend.
I heard they scored 82 points in a season.
My sister was a really good athlete growing up, and then Dave Wenham, the president of the league, approached me initially about arena football, and that's where I knew him. I was a assistant head coach for the Barnstormers. We had Kurt Warner.
Heck yeah.
And so he said, would you want to be involved in that? And eventually we're going to do volleyball. Well, in a roundabout way, we ended up doing volleyball first. And so he said, you still want to be involved in it? And I did. So Joe, my wife Robin, and I are considered founding partners.
Right.
And then I took it to one step farther. I'm actually employed by the league as director of brand advancement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So tell me this. You talked about all those years. I want to go back to volleyball.
Okay.
Especially with the Omaha Supernovas. I love the name. But I want to hey, can we get some water also too?
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Choked up.
It's all right. Sometimes you get emotional when you get around me. No,
I can see that.
But no, in all seriousness though, like all the years of coaching football, all the years being around football, how did you balance that with 3 sons and not being able to be potentially, I'm not going to say the dad that you wanted to be always, but you were gone a lot. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, that was tough. I fortunately worked for 2 great head coaches that understood family and understood your commitment to it. So in Ames, I didn't get to go as many games, but then after Iowa State, I became the assistant coach there at the high school and also the head coach. So I got to coach Jamie and Dan. Yeah. So that helped. And then
were you hard on them?
Oh, yeah. Ask Jamie one of these days if you ever see him and stuff. But you're always harder on your son or daughter.
For sure.
And then when I went to Ohio University with Coach Solich, I mean, he was unbelievable. He would allow us to go to almost every Friday night game.
Wow.
Trey Williams was a great running back with Joe. He ended up going to Northwestern. And if we had a bus ride, you have a lot of bus rides in the MAC, whether it's the Kent or Akron or Toledo. So he would let us go to the games and then also just meet the team that night.
Man.
And so we were fortunate, lucky. That's not the way assistant coaches normally are allowed to do that.
Right.
I didn't get to go to many practices and things like that, but then and that's
you can just say it right there.
That kind of led to my retirement because at LSU, Joe, in 2018, I only got to go to 3 games, and none of them at Tiger Stadium.
Wow.
So I sat down with Coach Solich and said, hey, look, I'm thinking about this. And about a month later, it took me a long time. I did. And then so at that point, I got to go to every 15 games, I think, in 2019.
It wasn't really about was it more so about like the timing was coincidental with wanting to be done versus wanting to see your son?
Yeah, it did. I wasn't ready to quit coaching, to tell you the truth, but I was in a position to retire. I'd done it for a long time. And then the fact that, my son is playing at LSU in front of 100,000 people on Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, and I'm going like, I haven't even experienced that. So the timing was good, and I'll always miss coaching, but that ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made.
Right.
But back to the question with how to work it all in as a dad. I mean, we grew up, in talking football and sports. All of the boys played basketball, baseball, soccer. They did it all. I'm a big proponent of multiple sports.
Yeah.
And so I got to as many games as I could.
That's what's up.
Jimmy, now stay with that and look at it from the perspective of the players in this league. Because these are women that have to, for a long time, have had to go away overseas to go play, and now they have the opportunity to stay at home in the States. It's a real opportunity for them. And just knowing how hard it is to kind of be away from your family in those moments, how important was that for you when you were kind of deciding to be a part of this initiative, this process?
Well, the vision that Dave Wenham and Stephen Evans had was to make this volleyball league a livable wage for the ladies, so they wouldn't have to go to overseas to play. And so that really interested me to promote women's athletics and to promote something that really never happened, and have a great volleyball league that they don't have to go overseas. And it provides opportunities. You've probably read stories about the different athletes going overseas, and they have good experiences, but it's not home. It's not the United States, and so that interested me to be a part of that and to promote the fact that we could provide a livable wage and provide an opportunity for all these great players in the United States to stay home and still be competitive in the world and trying to get to be on the Olympic team and those type things.
Yeah. So I took a note here. I want to read this to you and then get your feedback. So when you think about the history of volleyball leagues, you have the USA Pro League that lasted 1 year, 1 season. Since 2017, the National Volleyball Association for Men's was around, and then Athletes Unlimited started theirs in 2021 for women. What about this pro volleyball league that's coming up will make this I'm not going to say standalone.
Yeah.
We love those comparables, but like what would make this so special to make it grow?
Well, we like to say it's real pro volleyball, and when you got the best players in the world, it is real pro volleyball, and really Dave and Steven, who had the vision, put together an unbelievable staff, and it includes a lot of people that have had success as coaches in the league, administrators, are coaches of volleyball, administrators of volleyball teams, and it's all about the people that they're running an organization,
right?
And so you have to look at the totality of it in the fact that you got to get the right people, you got to get the right franchises, the right cities, and I think what allows us to stand alone is really those franchises that we have in the cities, the organizations, that these owners, Danny White and Chris here at City Ventures is a great example. Unbelievable staff they put together, and that's what it takes. But really, it all starts at the top. And I think you're going to talk to Jen Spicher. Her name is really Spicher. So she's awesome.
Better than Killer, right?
She's awesome. And then people like Diane Mendenhall here, who there's ladies like her.
Yeah, right.
That want to be involved and are involved, and that helps our league and franchises be successful.
Yeah.
Last thing from me here, Jimmy. You talk about being with the right people. Mm-hmm. As you come to Omaha, I mean, you know the state very well and how passionate they are about their sports teams and how passionate they've gotten about volleyball over the years especially. You look out there and you see a bunch of people supporting what's being done today and how excited they are for the Supernovas. Just how much of an impact does that have knowing that you guys put a team in the right spot?
Yeah, when I first met with Dave and Steven, one of the first things I said after I took the job and became a part of the league is you got to have a team in Omaha.
Right.
And
thank you, bro.
So Jamie had introduced me to Danny and Chris. So that's how kind of that all started in the suite at Arrowhead watching the Bengals and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But to know that Omaha is going to have a team and we're going to have support of knowledgeable volleyball fans. But you're going to have to put a winning product out there. Hopefully there can be Nebraska girls on the team, which but I think there will be and already
wink.
Are. So yeah, it makes me proud because once again I knew when I got into it that for the league to be successful in my mind, this had to be a big part of it. And I think I was at Nebraska when Coach Pettit probably started that long run of great Nebraska teams, and I've talked to John Cook and Coach Pettit, and they were always great to take our calls and give us advice, and it just all makes sense. And this is a big day for our league, for the city of Omaha, and the state of Nebraska when it comes to volleyball.
So your role by title for the league is well. First, let's dial back. So you started as just with your family investing in the team, right? And then they said, "Hey, you know what? Just how did that work out?"
They knew that I was passionate about the league, and the league office is in Columbus, so it's 70 miles away, and I knew Dave well, and he says, I think you can be important to be employed by us and to be a part of it. And so my title, Director of Brand Advancement, I'm doing what I'm doing right here with you guys.
You're advancing the brand.
the brand, and
that's all that it said on the job description, right?
My connections across the country and really coaching in football.
We talked about that.
Has really helped, and
sure.
I'm able to introduce our people to certain people around the country that are involved in football. But when you talk about volleyball and women's athletics, they want some of them want to be a part of it. That's how it goes.
So? I mean, we only know you. I know there's some. I looked up research about like some of the names of the different team owners.
Yeah.
So would you be pushing the Supernovas mostly, or just the? I mean, would you?
I gotta be neutral, brother.
Yeah, Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
I'm invested. More so in Omaha because I was involved in Danny and City Ventures, Chris buying the franchise. But I support them all. It's going to be a great league.
For sure.
Omaha in my opinion, has been – they've surrounded themselves with a lot of great players and a lot of great staff. So it'll be interesting, but I can't really cheer for one team.
All right.
Now, man.
Well, you could.
You
could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just don't tell anybody.
Low profile there,
Last thing for me here. What do you envision the league being in the next 5 years when it comes to like outreach for the next generation? Nebraska's huge with I'm not sure if you know Tony Carroll, but he's huge. He's huge in Nebraska with youth women's volleyball.
Yeah.
What do you think the league can do for the next generation to inspire, who's coming up to be a part?
Well, our goal is to be the premier volleyball league in the world, and if young girls are this is used Nebraska for example, if their goal and their dream is to play college volleyball at whether it's Creighton, UNO, or Nebraska, then we hope part of that dream is going to be, to play in our league and play for the Omaha team.
Right.
And those are kids that we want to be a big part of our fan base and grow up wanting to play professionally for Omaha Supernovas. So. And that's going to happen. They're going to be at the games. They're going to see the product, and they're going to, just like people go to the games and watch my son and other NFL players. They're going to go to the franchises around the league, young girls, and they're going to want to be like those.
So you're
players
trying to make you guys are trying to make this like NBA, NFL.
Oh yeah,
but national volleyball. Big.
That's right.
So maybe it can be like the league that just started in 21 can merge like ABA and NBA and just be under you guys.
I don't know.
I'm plotting.
We feel good about what we're doing, and we're on a road to making this a big and better thing each year. We think we stand alone, and as the Premier League in the United States, and then hopefully Premier League in the world.
So hey, can I sneak one more in here, Josh? You talked about just standing alone, because you said you didn't want to use that term.
Yeah.
He said we think we stand alone. So now I'm curious, what kind of separates you from the other products out there? Because like we'll just take football for example. You take the NFL and you know what that looks like. Then you look at the XFL, and it's really about the game experience that makes that different than the NFL. Like the interviews on the sideline constantly. What makes this different?
Well, the XFL, and I know many coaches in that league, they're still in the XFL trying to get to the NFL.
Gotcha.
Whereas in our league, once again, we think if you have the ability to play professional volleyball in our league and for our teams, then you're already at the top.
Wow.
And you can make a livable wage. And I'm not sure what the XFL and those type players. I think. Once again, they're aspiring to go to the next level.
Right.
In volleyball, the Pro Volleyball Federation is the next level.
So this is not semi-pro.
No, this is
pro.
This is real pro volleyball.
This is big leagues.
And so that's kind of where I think you can separate us from maybe some of the other volleyball leagues and some of the other sports that, like the NBA has I think the D League and the G League and those type things. Whereas, we don't have any of that.
No.
This is Major League Volleyball and real pro volleyball.
Well, look, Jimmy, we appreciate you coming on.
We'll see you at the first game.
There you go.
Absolutely. First match.
All right,
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Guys.
Oh, man, our guests were great
Holy
today.
cow. Everything I learned, it's what I tell you all the time, man. Like, when I'm not an expert in something, I really have to ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's all good,
But
though.
I feel like I understood everything.
Yeah, for sure.
They really laid it out so that it's easy for people to really get a grasp of what they're doing with the Pro Volleyball Federation and beyond with the team now in Omaha. It's going to be a special season.
Yeah.
And after talking to Coach, I'm amped up. I want to play for him.
I just like the fact that when you hear that franchisees own the teams.
Yeah, that was new. That was new for me because I didn't know that's how it actually went down. I knew people invested in
for sure.
were the face of the teams or the behind the scenes of what these teams are. Yeah. But I didn't realize how many are actually either celebrities or just big names in sports.
Yeah, exactly. That's an XFL. Is that is that owned by one group or how is that?
I feel I don't want to even want to answer that question because I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I just think that the way that it was explained to us, it's like the NBA. Mm-hmm. It's like the NFL. But it's volleyball. It's at a high level now in Omaha. There's no place like it. I mean, the University of Nebraska always is one of the top 5 teams in the country. I'll say top 3, to be honest.
And learning more about the roster, I mean, Oregon, Baylor, Wisconsin, et cetera. These women are coming from all over, but they're coming from premier schools. Yeah. Premier volleyball schools. And, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Say it how it is. Just like Coach put it, Omaha will draw the biggest crowd.
It will.
People are going to want to play at the CHI.
Yeah, it will.
And not only just people, as I say, the other teams.
Right.
I mean, players that are coming into the league and saying, if I have my option of picking and choosing where I want to play, I'm going to Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the Omaha Nighthawks. That was a big thing, but that didn't sustain just because the Nighthawks were taking care of the other teams, trying to get them to get a draw out there. I am excited, though, just for the fact that the other owners who are involved, they got tons of experience with maintaining a franchise. So I think the league is here to stay in the long run. I can't wait till it's that first trade. I can't wait until that first draft. I can't wait until that first game.
Experience it with everyone else.
Eight subs in a game.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Crazy.
So give me my Omaha T-shirt right now, my Supernova T-shirt. Can I take this? Should I?
Yeah,
I should leave my shirt on.
One?
I should leave my shirt on, right, Val? Yeah, he just gave me a thumbs up. Like, don't take your shirt off, man. Not yet. We don't have those T-shirts in yet. But I will be repping a Supernova shirt from January
Especially the way
to May.
they broke it down to us. No, I'm a fan.
The whole origin story behind it is just fascinating, and the ties to the community and the way they came about doing it. Because look, in Nebraska, there really isn't a lot to choose from that isn't already taken.
Exactly.
And so the research it took to come up with this name. I mean,
and it got a secret
brains that are smarter than mine.
Yeah, when you say supernovas, it sounds elite, it sounds professional, but it sounds unique.
Yeah, and nobody else is a supernova.
No.
There are kings out there. Right. There are lions. You can choose an animal. There isn't a supernova.
You know who needs some tips from the supernovas? The Washington football team.
They're in search. But I mean, I think they have a lot more baggage to sift through before they can get to the team name.
Hey, but anyway, for you, man, we appreciate you as a special guest. Kind of talk about Coffee and Cream.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Get your plug on.
Yeah, so Coffee and Cream on 590 every morning, Monday to Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. I know that means I get up super early. Yeah. I've been up since, I don't know, 5.
You're a morning guy, though.
I am now, right? No, I don't know. My watch doesn't really work too well.
You got my boy Damon Benning with
the internal clock. Damon Benning's fantastic. There's nobody else like him. The stories that he shares, the things he's experienced through life, and how he connects everything back to sports and recruiting and just kind of just issues, life issues in the world. I really think we do a great job of combining our personality. You see coffee and you see cream, which the ironic part is don't sift through color, because the first part is me and the second part is him. He's the chill mind and he's the one that brings flavor to the show, and a lot of people love him, and rightfully so. He's been here and been doing this for so long, and he makes sure that he's always invested in kids and community and never puts aside his real values for the show. He just brings everything to the show, and that's actually something I appreciate most about him and what I've taken from him in the short time that we've worked together. But yes, check out Coffee and Cream every morning. We're live on Twitter, live on YouTube. That's the Hurrdat Sports and Hail Varsity Radio Twitter pages. It's exciting to be a part of us in the morning, and just know you're not getting a show like any other. Like I'm all about having fun. DB, like I said, he's a little more that chill vibe that keeps me in check more times than not. But I want people to I want them to feel like they're in the room with us, at the table. Sure. I'm not going to use the reference. Everybody says it's like you're at the bar with your friends. Like, no, I kind of want it just to be like you're at the living room or the dining room table for dinner. Yeah. Like, you're all just having fun. You're sharing smiles. And you're passing different dishes around, and that's what you're trying on the show.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, look, man, you heard how you can find it. Michael, we miss you, man. No, I'm playing. Hey, look. But no, anyway, we had a great special guest today. I had a lot of fun with you, bro.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate
you're the man.
It. Coffee and Cream. Make sure you check that out. Hey, again, thank you to our sponsor, Omaha Steaks. We really appreciate you guys also. My name is Josh Jones.
Toss him a follow.
Yeah, right. Of him too. You too. You too.
Subscribe to Let It Fly.
Hey, look, I'm Josh Jones. On behalf of myself and my man, Michael Severe, you know how we do it. It's a Let It Fly show.